All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back today. We're playing Call of Cthulhu. And, three separate groups. Hey, so we were talking about Reservoir Dogs because if you watched the last episode, you know that Steven's character, Will, is essentially Tim Roth, where he's bleeding out to death in the back of a car. And I think Marie would be Harvey Keitel. Is that fair? Is that right? What do you think, Blum?
Is she comforting me? Is she telling me that I'm going to survive?
You have the good jawline. So I mean,
it's rough. We've got two people who have been missing for about 24 hours at this point. A little bit more than that, maybe. We've got Bev, who was recently captured. So she's trying to get on the new train. And then Will, nearly dead. And then there's Marie. Steven made a very sassy comment today in our Discord chat where he's like, I can't wait to talk to Frank about how tease Frank about hitting you with a car. And my response was, I can't wait for Frank to point out how Will was brought on to help protect these people. And in the first mission with these people, he has left Shyma to die, left Patrick to die, left Bev to die. So Marie, you might want to watch your back.
I feel like I'm taking a lot more blame that should be shared among this group.
You were literally brought in to be the tough guy to protect them.
The very first introduction, I got punched in the gut by
it was pretty fun, wasn't it?
So I don't think
great.
So you're
not the tough guy.
Like you start the story with being beat up and then.
All we do is watch Star Trek these days, so the only references Melissa can make these days is Star Trek, because that's all we watch. Just over and over and over again. Star Trek.
So that's why Jeff killed me last session, basically, to prove how tough Bangkok has been. Because, the Worf effect only works when it happens repeatedly. The more Will gets beat up, the tougher everyone looks.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Is it just Will we're beating up at this point, or is this more directly towards Steven?
Is this cathartic?
I feel like we're transcending some things at this point.
It's a reverse bleed.
So it's going to be a tricky episode. As for the last couple episodes, we've been splitting the party with their headsets and such. And so now we get to split it a third way, as Ashley's going to get Ashley and I are going to play one-on-one.
We're going to make each other cry, probably.
I'm not going to cry. I'm going to laugh gleefully.
You can definitely probably get me to cry.
Yeah, probably. I think I can do it. But I'm not going to cry. We're taking bets.
How much?
I don't want you to cry. Like happy tears. Happy tears.
Maybe.
All of a sudden, your eyes open up and you see there's Ed Exley saying, it was all just a dream. It was a bad trip and we're back in Los Angeles. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Sunny LA.
Shouldn't have taken that extra.
But how is it all a dream? Because Ed Exley would be part of the dream, right?
Well, I mean, everything after Los Angeles is a dream.
Unimportant.
I wake up again. I'm in my office naked. Shyma's like, here, put these clothes on after my mental breakdown.
What? All of this is just going to be, this has all been a clip show of the trial against Bev for dismissal from Miskatonic University. This is all just a clip show. That's what it is. We're going to go back to that. Okay. You ready to start? You good? You gonna go?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Last time around, we were at the Fragrant Honey shop again. Things went quickly, very, very bad. Things went bad very, very quickly. You all put in a passcode. You had T put in a passcode that Daniel Lohman gave you, and it kind of backfired, it seems like. It's Tawi Udom, who you know is one of the heads or the lieutenants in this area, and Bangkok, kind of the head of the fights, these underground fights. He sent his underlings after Bev, Marie, and Will, started chasing them through the neighborhood. Bev, you tried to linger and help T, your translator, your poor, delicate, clean-shaven translator. But as you did so, that kind of put yourself in danger. You got one of the last things you were able to do is you made an escape route for T. But then in doing so, they were able to overwhelm you at that point. Eventually, Tawi did make an appearance, but so did Frank, who was driving a car at the time. Marie, you urged him to slam the car into a group of people that included Tawi, some of Tawi's underlings, and Will. And so that worked out rough, as that really hurt Will, but not Tawi. Ultimately, you all were able to escape, or at least some of you were to escape. Marie, Will, Frank, T, you all escaped. Bev, unfortunately, was left behind. Will's injuries left him at death's door, but for some freaking reason, Melissa was willing to spend 40 luck when rolling a first aid test to try and stabilize Will. And Will spent a bunch of luck as well to stay conscious. And so basically, Will is at 1 HP. It's a temporary HP. You have an hour. Daniel Lohman remains in your trunk, which Maitreyi was saying she had forgotten he was in the trunk. It's been a while. He's been in that trunk for a really long time. Like real time, about a month. He's been about a month real time in that trunk. All right. So we are going to pick up. We're going to try to move a little bit more quickly through everyone's sections. We're going to start with Will and Marie. The rest of you can listen in on this part. So we see the three of you. You're speeding away. It's early morning hours. Not quite. We'll say not quite sunrise, or not a full sunrise. You're driving through the streets. You've managed to outpace Tawi and his underlings, who don't seem to be following you. An auto. Frank is currently driving. There's glass all over the place. Marie, you're riding shotgun. You can see you were like leaning back and trying to help Will, and Will and T are both in the back seat. Blood everywhere. And as you're driving, the last thing that we heard before we cut last episode was Frank saying, "Where's Bev? Where's Bev?" So I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Do you guys do or say anything in this moment as he is just sporadically driving away?
So I think Will took a major wound, and I think the way I'd like to portray this is that his face just got hit by that car, and it like cracked his cheekbone, and it kind of like crushed it in, and he could still die. Like he's not fully out of the woods yet, so he's conscious. You can see breathing. Blood is like flecks of blood every time he breathes in and out, goes splattering. He's like spitting out blood, and I think he would just say hospital. Like just, he's not thinking correctly. He's just hospital, doctor.
Okay. T in the back seat will call out Siviraj, which is a hospital along the Chaupraya River, and so he'll call that out. He's like, that's the closest one, but injuries like this will raise questions. And you can see like he's covered in blood himself. His eyes are wide. He is a slender man, and he is certainly a guy who does not look like a fighter. He is covered in blood. Hasn't slept all night. He's a translator. You know that he's a political science guy. He is not one for this. And he is certainly panicking, but he's just like shouting it out.
Is there anywhere where they may ask fewer questions? This goes bad sometimes if we go somewhere where they're going to ask a lot of questions.
And you could see he's thinking, he's looking, Chinatown, Madam Linz, she's an herbalist. And he starts like kind of panic, like no cops, and you can see he says no cops, but like that doesn't necessarily mean no danger when he says that. And like Frank's looking at you, and he's just like, what do we do? What do we do?
I think that's what we should do. We don't want too many questions asked. Bev was right behind us, but that went so badly, so quickly. She was right there, and we just had to. I should have done something different. I was just so slow, and I couldn't. Oh, again. And Marie's just sort of looking at Frank like it's just her, and
He's like
Will,
driving,
who
looking at you,
met.
driving, looking. He's bleeding, by the way, as he took a hit. And so he's got his own wound. It's not life-threatening, but he is like bleeding. All of you are covered in blood. Your car is busted. The front end of because it just hit like 4 people. And then you can see where Tawi's massive cleaver like hacked into the side, and all the windows are broken. So this thing looks, the car looks terrible. You all look terrible. You have a dude in your trunk, and you're driving off to Yawalrat Road, which is in Bangkok's Chinatown district. And so T just kind of leans up, and he's like leaning behind. He puts a hand on the back of Frank's seat, and then on his shoulder, his hand's covered in Will's blood, and he's just kind of pointing out directions.
Will is just weakly grasping at T the whole time. Help! Help!
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. She'll help you. You'll be okay. Oh my God, that's a lot of blood. And he starts to get really woozy as like there's this big dark bit of blood that comes out. Not sort of. And we're gonna cut from that as you guys are en route to the Chinatown district of Bangkok. We are going to. All right, I need everybody but Patrick and Shyma to take their headsets off here for a minute. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. Patrick, Shyma, little do they know, you two had a very victorious end to the last session, as the two of you, your unnamed companion, you chased after Savitri, and she led you away from this crumbling mansion, but then she kind of did a little rope-a-dope. She tricked you, and she snuck back around, attacked Patrick, and then tried to sneak back into the estate. Shyma, you tried to follow, but then you fell through some floorboards into this nasty basement. Patrick, you and your companion, you circled around to the front of the building. You went inside, and you were able to track a Savitri upstairs. And you caught her sneaking into these large double doors. She looked as though she didn't notice you. And when you opened up and you looked inside of those double doors, you saw that she was tending to her own wounds inside of this large library, books, tomes everywhere. You and your friend, you charged, you fought, and Savitri is very fast, she was able to dodge, but you also had wounded her, you and Shyma, and you were able to take her down right as Shyma comes running up the stairs. And so we're going to open right then. You're standing over top of the body of Savitri. You can see the 2 mouths of her body are snapping out at you. You're able to stay away. The woman who's with you is like still kind of poking the body here and there with like this like rudimentary weapon, one of the tools that Shyma was able to get from the boathouse. I'll turn it over to you guys. And this is right when you hear Shyma there in the hall at the door, and the 2 of you are together.
I whip my head back. It's over, Shyma.
And she's bursting in at this moment and like is ready to take a swing. You did it.
We did it.
And she kind of drops the weapon and falls to her knees. Like, Mr. Price. And she has this big, like, deranged smile on her face, and eyes move to the dead body. Like, now we feed. And she reaches over, and what she wants to do is decapitate the body and take the head as like a, I don't want to call it a trophy, but it's basically a trophy for a little while. And
I want to reiterate, you are no longer under the effects of nectar.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Okay, so like, okay, well, this behavior is particularly like horrific and insane, and is going to result in like sanity loss. So like, I just want to make sure you're doing this because you think this is something Shyma would do in her natural state, and not like because she's under some kind of ill effect.
I'm thank you for that, but essentially I'm sort of thinking of this as like a mixture of the curiosity, drive, and the occult, and the loss of sanity and the bouts of madness and the adrenaline and everything else. And
Okay.
it's I am aware that it's a very fucked up thing.
It feels a little extreme is sort of what I'm getting at for the moment. But if you decide to go do it, that's fine. You have like various tools from the boathouse to
do we
start.
have the hatchet? I'm sorry. Is the only
sure.
way to...
That's fine. There's no reason.
I left it lodged in there on my final strike, so it's still in there.
Okay. So if you rip the hatchet and you start hacking away at her.
Actually, I'm so sorry, Jeff. Can I make a small modification?
Sure.
Okay. So rather than decapitate her, I think the curiosity more is going to be can you remind me where her mouths are?
Yeah, she's got one on her thigh, and then her second. 1 second. And one on her right thigh, and one on her left forearm.
Okay, so above the left forearm, keep making sure to keep away from the mouth. I would like to sever the hand. Because I think she'll sort of like say to Patrick as well, like, I just want to see what happens to the mouth. I just want to see what happens.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack. Normally there would be a penalty die in this situation, but because she's dead, I'm going to say you'll also get a bonus die in this situation, considering there's mouths in play still. Because even though she is dead, you can see that her mouths are quite active, and they are hissing and spitting, and they are snapping at you, and your own is doing the same. So roll an attack to be able to hack through her arm.
Is that just a brawl?
Yeah, it's just a brawl, just like any other attack.
Okay. That's a 24 under 85.
So, Patrick, you watch as like Shyma snatches that, like pushes past you, snatches the hatchet, and starts hacking away at Savitri's arm. And the blood just begins to erupt. You hear your companion freaks the hell out. Like, what the fuck? And she's like just freaking out at this point. So, Patrick, I need you to roll a SAN. Shyma, you can roll a SAN as you are starting to like brutalize a corpse.
I also have indefinite and underlying insanity.
Yep. So, you are going to essentially go into a bout of madness, probably.
Yeah.
I pass with a 5.
All right. So Patrick, you managed to steel yourself.
Nice.
So you're okay. Shyma,
I failed with the 42.
Shyma, you hear as you're hacking away, you pull the arm off, and you can see this mouth on the forearm is still like, and it's like speaking to you in a language that you recognize but can't translate. You've heard it before. You've heard it from the thugs in Savannah and various other places since then. And then it kind of spits at you, and you can see this chunk of like bile or fluid or whatever it might be kind of catches you right in the face. The woman who's been with you, she's going to fail her sanity, but she is not going to. Yeah, she suffers some sanity loss, but she's not like bout of madnessing it. But she's like at this point like backing as far away from Shyma. And Patrick, you kind of get the sense like as she's like holding up like a weapon, like looking at you, looking at Shyma, looking at you, looking at Shyma, as if like waiting for you to tell her whether to take out Shyma. Patrick, what do you do in this situation?
I'll grab our new friend's wrist and slowly back towards the door. Shyma, have you gone mad?
No, I just want to see what happened. I just want to see. Do you want to see?
No, I don't. I'll back away from Shyma.
Okay. Do you leave the library at that point?
Yeah, I'll leave the room. Leave her to her own.
Okay. And so you pull from the room. You head off back into the rest of the estate. And your friend is. Is she going to come after us? Is she going to turn on us too? And you can see that she's like looking at you like as if like just waiting for you to come up with a plan. As she seems a little bit, she lost 3 points of sand, so she's a little bit nervous right now.
We'll just watch over for now. We need a way off this island. There's one danger down.
We can make something. We can make a raft, a boat. I told you we could do this. We could look. We haven't even searched. We could search. We can find other things. Maybe there's a boat somewhere. Maybe there's. And she's saying all of this in like, you speak French, right? Like, right? Yeah. So all of this is like, this whole conversation you guys are having is like in like French with some broken English kind of thrown in there, here and there.
I'll calm her down. Just check out the building, see if you can find anything.
She nods and she starts searching. Do you go with her or do you have your own agenda?
Yeah, I'll check on Shyma, make sure she's calmed down from her, if she's going mad, if she's going insane. Try to stop her from what she's doing. Okay.
So Shyma, because you lost some sand from this brutalization, that's 3 points of sand lost to you. And because you are suffering already, that's going to be a bout of madness.
Yeah.
So let me roll a few things over here and see if any of these make sense and kind of go from there. Okay. I'll give you the choice. Like, you can kind of play this out however you want, but a couple ones that popped up, if you think either of these make sense. One was just sort of like an amnesic like break, like you suddenly just like have like this memory block, as though you have no memory of events that have taken place since the last time you're in safety. Or it could be a psychosomatic disability where you just something like you either just go blind briefly or you go deaf briefly, or you lose the loss of a limb or something like that. So those are two that popped up. We've already got like a
Can you read me the amnesiac one again?
Investigator has no memory of events that have taken place since they were last in a place of safety. So, for example, It seems to them that one moment they were like eating breakfast and the next they're facing a monster.
Got it. Okay, cool. Would be okay if I did that one?
Of course, yeah. Either one of those, fine. Yeah.
Sweet. So as Patrick comes into the room, what you see is she drops the hand, looks down at her naked body, and immediately kind of like puts like tries to cover herself up with as much as she can with her arms, and kind of scrambles back from the body and the mouth, and then she sees the mouth on her hand, and she just kind of panicking and freaking out and just like, What's going on? What's going on, Miss Press? What's going on? And she's kind of scrambling and trying to cover herself up, and it's just the whole thing's just a lot of flailing and panic.
If Savitra had any clothes on her, I would cover Shyma up with that.
She doesn't, but there are. She was nude as well, but there are some cloths and things around. You can kind of grab something. Yeah.
It's all right, Shyma. We're a bit lost right now. We'll get out of here.
Did I do that? What happened? We were getting off the plane. We were going to the Oriental.
No, you didn't do any of this. It's all right.
And they're in a library, right? Like,
you're in a library, and as your eyes are darting around, Shyma, they stop in the doorway that Patrick just came through. You see there's a figure. You see your mother standing there, and she's looking at you with this look of horror and disappointment. And she says, "Shyma, what have you done?" And we're going to cut from there. So I'll let you think of how you want to play that out. And then we're going to check in with Bev. We can get people back on. All right, we're back to Bev. Melissa, go away. Go away. It's not you. Just there you go. Okay, nice try. All right, I realized there was no way of Melissa knowing that, but okay.
Should we leave? Is this Ashley only?
Yeah.
You know what? No, you guys can hang out. It's fine. Let's not get too precious with this.
I have an audience.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to speak to you guys in days.
I would, however, say the two of you don't give anything away.
No, of course.
That kind of stuff. Okay. Bev, the last we see of you is like we like come back for this moment of like this flashback. The last thing we saw of the crew, you hear the sounds of like this car accident, the peeling out of a car. You feel hands on you. People you're unable to move, and then finally someone comes over and like they take some like heavy, the heavy flat side of a machete and just like whack you on the head a few times until everything goes black. The next time you kind of come to consciousness, you don't know how much time has passed. You feel a great pain in your head, which is not an uncommon place, unfortunately, for Bev, as you've suffered a few head injuries. You are extremely lightheaded, disoriented. You feel a bit malnourished, and you realize with some level of horror that you can play out as you see fit. You're hanging upside down. You are in some crude and hideous, for lack of a better term, cell. The ground is filled with blood and muck. Everything here smells absolutely foul. You have very little light. You can see that there's like a metallic grid that seems to be serving as like a door, kind of sort of keeping you in this cell. You have no feeling in your hands, and you realize they're bound behind your back. And you also realize that you've been like stripped down to your skivvies, like your the clothes that you were wearing earlier are nowhere to be seen. And you hear the sounds of like someone sniffling, and then you kind of have this dull feel of someone like reaching and kind of doing something to the back of your head. And a moment later, like you spin around, like you get spun, someone spins you, and you can see that there is a man that is kind of squatting right next to you, not kneeling, just kind of doing this strange squat. He seems to be tending to your wounds, as you see that there's a relatively clean bandage and a bucket of water, maybe, where he's just kind of tending to it. You don't recognize the man. He is... it's hard to tell exactly his age. He's certainly Siamese. And he is wearing a tattered, old, like military uniform. Do you have history?
I do.
What was it at?
My history is 25.
Okay. I'll say no roll necessary. I'm just gonna give you this for free. It looks not unlike the French Foreign Legion uniforms that you saw when you first met Will in Casablanca. this looks older, ruined, and tattered. But between your history and your experience, I think you're able to piece that together. His pants have been tattered to the point where like they're almost under the knee, and so you can see his like dirty shins, and he has some kind of like crude sandal that he's wearing, and he is just every now he just constantly sniffling and occasionally laughing. And when he spins around, your head spins around, you see him. He's missing a whole bunch of teeth, but then he says something to you. And he gives this like weird smile and then barks a laugh. And you probably don't understand what he says. Should I do Beth?
Could I try to see if I understood what he said?
Absolutely. So roll your language Thai or language Siamese, however we entered it.
Thai. That's a 4.
4 is phenomenal. I'm not only going to say I'll translate that, but I'm going to let that roll over for at least any sort of conversation that isn't too complicated, of course.
Okay.
But he says, he basically says, "Good morning. Good to see you're awake."
Please help me.
I am. And he like holds the bandage in front of your face, and you can see it's like covered in blood. And then he like slides the bucket over, and you can see inside the bucket there are other copies of this bandage. And then you can see off to the side, like he pulls over some small little like military med kit, and he cracks it open, and you can see he's like getting out what looks like needle and thread, like you would do stitches with.
No, I don't want. Leave here. Please help me leave here.
No. No. Oh, no. You'll leave soon. So will not take you. They asked I make you whole before the trip. So I do.
Where are they taking me?
Somewhere. Elsewhere. Not here. Could be worse. You could be food, but you're not.
Okay. Thank you. Where are we still? Is this the honey shop?
Yeah. This is source. You sell. You got hit good. You have big wealth. And then you have old wealth. You have 2 wealths.
And she just kind of winces because her head's pounding, and presumably he's talking really closely to her face, and it's just loud.
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone else brought in with me?
No. Except they fed to the mouth.
Who?
What? I don't know.
Was it and she starts to describe Patrick and Shyma.
No, they left.
They left? They escaped, or
No. No. Big man, Tawi, took him somewhere else.
am I going to the same place?
No. He's gonna take you too, though.
Oh, okay. Oh, and like, she's just stressed at this point, and her head hurts. And can you let me down from this?
No. Well, yes, but no.
Okay. They're alive. They're not dead. They were taken someplace else.
Die elsewhere. You die here, you food. You die elsewhere for different reasons.
So you make nectar here?
Yes. You know nectar. Yes.
Yeah. You make it differently than in Mexico.
I don't know Mexico. Here, we feed those that fall, and some that don't, and those that don't listen. So, but not you. Special. Some get chosen, go elsewhere, never come back.
Oh. What do you know a Daniel Lohman?
Yeah.
Glasses?
Why in? Why in? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is he important to Tawi or no?
No.
Is he important to you?
No.
Okay. And like at this point, Beverly's just kind of running through her mental checklist. It's a little bit more disjointed than it would normally be, just due to the numerous head injuries.
Sure.
At this point.
Yeah.
But I think she's just gonna let him continue working on her.
Okay.
As she's.
So he will do a small bit of first aid. You can take 2 HP back if you need it. As he succeeds. But then he comes. Then he like kind of like moves over and he grabs like another like small like metal plate of some kind, and he starts like spoon feeding you. Eat. You need to be strong. He's like feeding you.
She'll take a bite, but if it's disgusting, she'll probably kind of spit it up a little bit.
It's just like gruel is essentially what it is. It doesn't like it. Like it's like you're eating like really bland oatmeal. Is kind of what it is.
No nectar, and she just starts saying no nectar, no nectar.
No, and he like takes a glop and puts it in his mouth with his hand.
Okay, and then she'd continue to eat it. Yeah.
And then he keeps kind of feeding it, and after a little while, you kind of get a little drowsy. And he's like, bye. And then you hear the sounds of like the grid, that little gate, kind of start to unhinge. Your eyes kind of start to flutter a little bit. Like all of this is like upside down. And you see these 2 like big, nasty, gnarled looking feet with like these kind of rawhide leather like sandals. And when you track them up with your eyes that you can, as you start to get drowsy, you see these big old like calves into this massive man, and you know him to be Tawi, and he kind of leans down with the sharp teeth, and he just and he kind of just like kind of flicks you a little bit, blows a little air in your face, and then you just kind of like go drowsy, and then you get knocked out again, unconscious once more. Okay. Welcome to the party. Okay, let's signal 2. Marie
Am I
and
leaving?
Will. No, you can stay. Okay. Bev, you can stay. Okay. All right. Everybody's together. Everyone's on the audio. Nobody is together. Will and Marie are the only ones. Okay.
Will actually bailed out of the car on the way to the hospital.
So he falls and dies because he had like 1 temp HP. Okay. So you guys were going to Madame Lynn. He explains, so T will explain along the way that Madame Lynn, she's an herbalist, retired, but good with medicine of a kind, he says, and that she runs a shop, like kind of an underground kind of clinic in the Chinatown area of Bangkok, and you drive past on Yalwilrot, I think I got that right, road, and you can see that there is like a kind of a shabby looking apothecary. You can see that there's like some lanterns and stuff hanging here and there. As you peek out, this is mostly for Marie, but Will, I'm going to roll a die to see if you get there in an hour. Okay, so I'm going to roll a D100, and this is how many minutes it takes for you to get there.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Okay. I rolled 42, which is a wonderful number. 42 minutes. So it takes not quite an hour, but you're still conscious, Will, by the time you arrive. But you can see that it's like it's some kind of, it's a shop that definitely looks legit. The neighborhood itself is got a different vibe for sure than other parts of the city. Like there's definitely, like, culturally, you can see, especially those of you with any kind of anthropological skills, there's definitely, you can distinguish a bit between like some of the Siamese architecture and like the French inspired colonialism and such in this section of the city. But as you guys like park in some alley nearby, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a couple questions. What do you do with Daniel Lohman? Who's going inside with Will?
So I would say that Marie would probably go inside with Will. And Daniel Lohman probably would stay in the trunk for now.
Marie, did you get hit in that fight? How injured are you?
I'm fine.
So maybe Frank should go in because he's injured?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Just a scratch.
Well, that's a... No, you're right.
Not life-threatening, but...
The two of you should definitely go in. Both of you need some looking after. I can...
T does not look great either, and T is also probably your translator.
Okay, so yeah,
this is Chinese district, so yeah.
The three of you should go inside, and I will stay with the vehicle as she looks at
Frank is like, I don't think it's a good idea that we I always forget Frank's accent. Isn't he the man of many accents? Is that Frank?
Yeah. He is.
Scottish.
I'm just going to do a random Irish accent. It's like, oh, you want to stay in the car, do you? Oh, jeez. Something like that. It's so terrible. So he says...
we should all go inside and just leave him in the trunk and leave the car out here?
That seems... I can stay out here. It's just a scratch. I'll be fine. I've gotten worse. That's Frank. I'll be fine.
Will spits out some blood that sounds like keep the car running.
Okay. He's not looking so good. He looks really pale. He's lost a lot of blood.
I'll look after him.
Better get him inside.
I'll look after both of them. You sure you're okay to stay with the car? And you can tell she's about to burst into tears like at any second. She's so stressed.
I'll be fine.
Are you sure?
At that worst, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Will is literally being held up by T right now.
I'm just going to roll a D10 to see how long this conversation lasts.
Probably go inside with him and both of them.
No. We don't skip the pleasantries here.
All right, enough of the pleasantries.
Okay, I'll go inside. T, you've done above and beyond, but we're going to need a little more translating, I think.
He's standing outside the car waiting for you to get up.
Marie
he also
lifts Will out of the car.
All right. So Marie, T, the two of you take Will, like you come over and you kind of like kick on the door and door opens. And you can see a older woman. And again, this is very early morning. I'll say at this point, dawn has come. So the sun is up now. The city is not fully underway yet, but it's getting there. You can see that you are getting eyes. There's no way around it. People see this. Whether or not they care is a different story. But the door opens and you can see that there is a older woman, Chinese woman, kind of a crooked back. You can see she's a little twisted and hunched, And she's got these sharp eyes with these tiny round spectacles. And you can see that she's got in her hand what looks like a bunch of dry herbs. And she's just like, as you kick the door open, she grabs it, looks, and like yells something out at you. And then T kind of yells something back. And the two of them talk. And you can see like there's this sort of exchange. And eventually he'll turn to you and he'll say, follow her. Take him to the back.
Okay.
She leads you out of like this little landing shop area where all these fragrant scents of various herbs, you can see dry herbs dangling, hanging from certain places. And you kind of get pulled back into what just looks like a bedroom. It doesn't look like a medical. It's like, I don't know if Will's feeling okay about this, but it really just looks like a bedroom.
Will would not have the energy to fight at all. If there's someone offering help, he's going for it.
And so you are still stable. You still have a few minutes left. So she's going to get to work. And she's going to like kind of point to certain things, Marie, and then she's going to like call out names and like getting you all to like run and fetch. And so you do this a couple times. You rush out, you fetch something, you bring it back, and she shakes her hand and kind of slaps you on the back of your wrist and then kind of points you somewhere else because you got the wrong thing. And this happens like 4 or 5 times. All the while, like you can see she's peeling away some of the clothes that Will have, like where some of Will's wounds are, and then she's kind of cleaning this here and there. She kind of hands a cloth over to T, and it becomes this process where like Marie, you're just running back and forth. And so she needs to make a medicine roll. And who would like to make that medicine roll?
I feel like Steven, you should.
All right, Steven.
Roll your
No,
own
I
fate
definitely
here.
cannot make my own medicine roll.
Please roll D100. You're looking for
I
a
really
45.
would rather someone else made it so I can blame them when it fails.
Long, go ahead and
And-
roll a D100. I know I
Long
can count on
rolling
you.
fire.
And
so
you
I'm
can
gonna
spend-
say Long.
You can spend your luck, Will. If you have luck, you're welcome to spend it for her.
51.
What did she need?
She needed a 45, so you need to spend 6 luck.
I gained 16 luck, so I will spend 6 of it, yes.
Okay. She probably would have been fine if you guys would have got here a little bit sooner, but since you're rushing her a little bit. Okay, so what that basically means is the medicine test is going to... So you were stabilized from Marie's first aid. The medicine test will essentially allow you to uncheck the dying box on your character sheet, as this means you have, in fact, survived. And I think it's a D4 because we're using faster recovery rules since Mexico City. We made that choice. So let me double check.
D4.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and roll it.
That's 3.
Okay, so you get 3. You're going to get 3 HP back.
Is that on top of the temp HP or replace the temp HP?
I think the temp HP goes away after an hour. So like I don't
so I'm
think
at 3
it
total.
sticks around. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll say this all takes a little bit of time. Will, you probably lose consciousness at some point. During that time, I'll say that this woman, Madam Lynn, can go and tend to you, Marie, if you have anything. She'll tend to T. She'll tend to Frank. Frank will even come in possibly. And so you'll essentially spend most of the morning here.
Yeah. And Marie's just runner, just everything. Yeah. Hopefully by the end, she's getting a little better sense of what this woman wants. But she's frequently coming back with like 3 things. Like every time she sends her to something just to make sure that she's helping.
So we see this montage of her tending to different people, conversations with T. And then by the end of it, T will kind of come up to you and kind of explain, Frank is fine. Stitches will heal. It's not a major issue. Will is in... His wound is severe. She says it will need tending. She says she wants him to stay in bed for at least a week.
A week? I understand that would be what's best for him. We've found ourselves in a bit of a situation here, and I don't... We'll do what we can. I don't know that we can guarantee that he can stay in bed for a whole week without doing anything.
She needs to get paid. I don't have money on me. And he's like touching his, like, he's in shreds, like, because he got stabbed and tackled. He's like, it must have fallen out of my other, I don't. So, Marie, give me a credit rating roll really fast here.
Dear, this is not a good strength of Marie's. I think she's got a 30 credit rating.
This is just this, like, you're going to get, I'm just going to determine whether this, like, if you succeed in your credit rating, then you can keep your on-hand cash. If you fail, just depleting your on-hand cash for Bangkok.
Is this something Will could, like, sort of assist with? Because he's got
I'm cool with
cash in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Take a bonus die.
Okay, cool. I'll just do it just for fun. I needed a 30 and I got a 30, but I will, with the bonus die, I got a 20 under 30.
Okay. So I'm going to say, since you passed, I'm going to say what she asked for doesn't exceed your daily spending levels. So you don't have to dig into, like, your assets or your cash or anything like that. So you guys are good. That was all it was for.
Okay. Good.
So at this point, Marie, maybe the adrenaline is sort of starting to wear down. That was a full night. You haven't slept. You nearly got killed a couple times. I'm going to say Will is still kind of groggy out of it. She gave him some kind of meds. You can see Frank is still not really with it. T is probably okay. I think he's fine. His mostly surface abrasions. So I'm going to cut from there. And you guys can think about what you want to do. But several hours are going to pass at the very least while Will heals. And so you probably will not get to do anything until, like, the afternoon.
Sure.
But I would like both of you to go ahead and remove your headsets. Same with Ashley, as we're going to cut back to Patrick and Shyma now.
Okay.
Okay. Good to go. Shyma, you see your mother standing in the doorway to the library, saying something, essentially disappointed look on her face, shock on her face, calling you by whatever the name she would call out or the tone that she would use to make you feel like you're in trouble is exactly what Shyma hears. What do you do?
Ma? What are you doing here?
Patrick,
she's yelling over Patrick's shoulder.
You see Shyma's not looking at you, Patrick, but she's looking past you at the doorway, and she's calling out to her mother. Patrick, what do you do?
Ma, I'll look back to see if anyone's there. If there's anyone there.
You do, in fact, see someone standing in the middle of the doorway. She is an older woman, Siamese, by the look of it, you would guess, based upon your time here. She is, you can see, like, her eye, there's something about her eyes. They're kind of looking off to the side, and you can see she's kind of hunched over a little bit, like she's having trouble breathing. And she says something to you, Patrick, and she's speaking in Siamese. Do you want to give it a try?
Yeah, I've got 3.
Yeah, unfortunately you sent your friend away to search, so she's not there.
Roll a 5. I'll spend 2 luck.
Holy crap, man!
Holy shit!
You hear her say, "Who are you? Where is Savitri? Who are you?"
I'm Patrick. Who are you?
I am just an old woman. I am, and you can see she's like reaching out and kind of like grabbing things here and there. And you realize as you're watching her, her eyes are kind of whitish. You get the sense that she might be blind, or she might have suffered some kind of injury to her eyes. Savitri, they are here. Help me, help, they are here. She just kind of calls out feebly into the air.
I'm not going to hurt you. It's okay.
They are here. They're in the house. Patrick, you could roll give me a test if you like to see if you can calm her a bit. Persuasion, charm, fast talk maybe, but fast talk has a timer on it. Whatever it is you prefer. Shyma, all of this shouting out, you hear your mother is essentially berating you and for your behavior, for your appearance, and like she's just like yelling at you right now. Essentially, however she would kind of describe it. So how would it sound? How would it sound?
She definitely uses Shyma's full name. So it's very much Shyma Oberon.
Classic.
And very like this is not how you were raised. How dare you lied to us? Like, what have you been doing in Bangkok? Like, you aren't even like very much more about the lying to them than the actual actions. And so that's really what lots of berating. And Shyma's just kind of like wide eyes. I don't. Why? What do you even do? Did you follow me? What did you do? Why are you here? You can't be here, Mama. You can't be here.
Her voice like raises ever so slightly. Who are you to tell me I cannot be here or anywhere? I am your mother. And she's just like continuing to flex that notion that she is like, she has power over you in some way, you know?
Yeah.
Patrick, how did you do in your charm? Or
72,
whatever you rolled.
72 on a 30 persuade, so I failed.
Okay. You see her kind of panic, and she turns around and shuffles very quickly out the library back onto the landing. Shyma, you still see your mother standing there in the doorway.
She stands up and gives chase.
No, your mother is still standing in the doorway. She is not rushing away. You haven't seen the old woman.
She like walked away.
That is the woman that Patrick sees.
Right.
I know it's a little weird.
No. I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were saying.
You're right, Shyma. She can't be here. That's not your mother.
Ma?
Don't listen to him. You don't know him. Who is he to you? And you are frolic around with... Put something on. The two, and you can see she's just like with this great sense of judgment at the two of you rolling around naked on the ground in blood.
Yeah. She's trying valiantly to hold up the fabric that Patrick gave her. And Mom, no, this isn't real. This can't be real. This can't be real.
Okay, so you can make a check. Shyma, I believe it's just a sand test. Yeah, I think it's just a sand test. Go ahead and roll it.
I have lost so much sanity. I am not expecting to pass.
Can I help her with the psychoanalysis?
Yes. So yes, absolutely. So before you want to roll psychoanalysis for Patrick, that would to try to talk her into not believing what she's seeing.
And to be clear, Shyma did just say this can't be real, but it's very clear she doesn't believe that. Like, she's just saying that because, like, she needs to say that.
I got an 83 on my 60, so I failed that.
Oh, brutal. Okay.
What do you, so you two can both combo on this. What do you think Patrick says to her, and why does that not work for Shyma?
I will... Maybe it's because I imagine they know that Shyma hasn't told her first that she's left as static.
Probably.
Yeah. So I think Patrick always has something like how would she even know? Like she wouldn't even know that you're here, or something to that effect. And Shyma, like you don't understand. She found out. I don't know how she found out, but she found out. And I will roll my sanity, which I fully expect. I not just failed, I crit failed with the 97.
Okay, you crit fail. Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I can't roll for shit anymore.
I'm going to throw this out there that Shyma gets into, because it's going to be basically a bout of madness. You're going to kind of get checked out for a little bit. And here's what I'm going to suggest. Maybe like from Patrick's perspective, you are just babbling incoherently about your mother, and your eyes are far off. But like from Shyma's perspective, we just see her like in this lengthy conversation with her mother and pleading left and right. So like you're in your own little reality, basically.
That makes sense.
But you're like basically catatonic to Patrick's.
That makes sense.
Okay. Patrick, you try to reach her, but she just starts babbling about her mother, about this, about that. You just can't get to her. And as you maybe even like reach out to like try to help her, you can see the mouth that is still on your body snaps at her face, and you have to like pull it back at the last second before it hits her. So even trying to just be like physically like reassuring is still extremely dangerous. What do you want to do, Patrick?
Seeing that I can't help her in the moment, I'll chase after the lady.
Okay, and it's not hard to catch up with her. She's old. She's moving very slowly. She's laboring down the stairs. You can tell she knows the place, despite what appears to be some. She's elderly, and she has the issues with her eyes. But you catch her down at the base of the stairs, and help, Savitri, help! They are in the house. Oh, please. Patrick, do you have psychology?
I do. It's out of 75.
Give it a roll. You're not rolling nearly as well as you did last time.
Hey, 75.
Right on the dot there, but you are not rolling as well as you did last time. Okay. You can tell that this is something of an act. Like she is, like her calling out for help, it seems like rehearsed. It seems like something she might have done before. You can like, it's not so much that she's like, you would get the sense it's not so much like she's trying to convince, but probably Savitri. I always forget how I pronounce it. Goddamn. But like
Savitri.
But you get the sense that this is like an act that she might be playing, not to convince you, but to convince Savitri.
Savage's not coming.
What?
She's dead.
What? You lie. You lie. No, she lives. She lives. They say you are dead. She's just trying to trick you. She tricks all who she brings here. She's just playing. Yes, you'll see. And you can see like there's a little bit of like a mixture of like panic but relief in her voice. Like it's all like you can tell she is trying to do like quick calculus in terms of how to act in this moment. Like she's there's a little bit of panic going through her.
If you fear her, she's not coming.
Do you speak true? Is she dead? How did you kill her?
With my own hands.
You can see she like lets out a sigh and like she like bounces herself against the wall and like she almost looks a little disoriented. She turns to talk to you face to face, but her eyes are kind of off to the side. Then you have done what so many others have not been able to do. So many. First, the family, and then others. And she just kind of starts to like deflate, and you see her like slide down the wall and just take a seat on a step and kind of start to weep a little bit. What do you say?
Who are you really? What are you doing here?
And all of this is coming to you, and it's like your Siamese is particularly rough, but we'll say this is an opportune time for your unnamed friend to show up. She rushes around and she's like, I couldn't find anyone. Oh, and like you can see your friend who's like limping with the mouth on her leg. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this?
I found her.
She's
not gonna harm us.
And the old woman says, I am Ravi. I am what is left. I am Savitri's grandmother. She was the daughter of my youngest son. And I am all that's left. And at this point, I'll say, like, your friend is able to translate. And so you're getting greater nuance to some of her responses. And so you're able to ask, like, more complicated questions if you wish.
I'd like to know how long she's been here. If there's anyone else.
She says, it's been years. It's been years. Savitri went to America. 10 years more. And then she came back. She was always a peculiar girl with peculiar interests. She was different. But when she came back, she was worse. And she brought with her that white man, Wayne. And we didn't notice at first when some of the servants went missing. And then some family started leaving the island. I didn't know until later that they never left. They were killed. They were murdered by her. She said that they went for other jobs or trips or wanted to go back to the mainland, but no. She killed them. And then when there were none of us left, she brought people here to kill. I am only alive because she never saw me as a threat. You can see like she's very sad. You can see like she looks like a defeated old woman at this point.
Do you know why she was doing this?
She just sort of shakes her head. She has been seeking answers to some question. I don't know what, but she became consumed with it. She sent people to different places, and they would come. They served her. They brought her books and tomes and something about learning the truth, knowing who stands behind the mouths, understanding identity what's hidden from her. But she wouldn't say more than that to an old woman. But she's been obsessed since before the bloodbath even began. I don't know if it was an obsession that started before she went to America or after. But that is what drove her, and she would not let me near the library. Not that I would be of any use. Not that I would be able to learn. I can barely see in front of me, let alone read.
How long have you been blind?
For 7, 8 years' time. I don't know. The seasons are the only way I count. 7, 8. My vision has gone. I eat scraps.
We can get you off this island when the sun comes up.
And you see now, Patrick, that the sun has risen. It is daytime. And she will... There's no way off. I can tell you that people come, but they work for her. They serve her. They bring her victims to hunt. They bring her tomes to read. There is no way off but through them.
Then there'll be more like us. They'll bring them. We'll find an opportunity.
She just kind of nods. This was once a beautiful home. I am glad I can no longer see what it has become. And she just starts to look around. But you can tell, like, none of it is crystallizing for her. Okay. We are going to cut out of the scene. If you come up with questions, you guys can talk behind the scenes. If you come up with other questions you want to ask her, we could do that when we come back. But we're gonna cut over at this point. Okay. Go ahead and get everyone back in. Okay. Welcome back, Will, Marie. I'm not sure if Ashley is here yet, but she can be. Okay. Will, Marie, we're back to you. Several hours have passed. It's afternoon. It's at this point, Will, I'll say, like, your eyes kind of flutter open. You feel pain, but you don't feel like the lightheadedness from the drain of blood. You can tell that you are weaker because you haven't got a proper blood transfusion, so you're still kind of weak, but you can tell, like, you do feel better. If not, you're no longer on death's door. You look around, you see there's Marie, there's T. What's next for you two?
Marie's definitely smothering Will. Like, when he opens his eyes, she's like kind of like right. Like, yeah. Will, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better?
I feel like I got hit by a car.
You did.
I know.
But you're still alive.
Oh. What? Bev, what happened to Bev?
I don't know. I didn't see what happened to her.
Frank, he's okay?
Yeah, he's right over there.
I'm
he's
fine.
Okay.
Just a scratch. You okay, kid?
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I gotta get up. I can't be in this bed any longer.
Whoa.
I go to start.
So about that, T let me know that she said that you should stay in bed for about a week. Actually.
That's not going to happen.
I didn't think so, but I mean, we should try for at least, an hour or two would be good.
I could do an hour, and I just collapse back in the bed.
Okay.
And so what Marie wants to do is she wants to, through T, see if she can see if this woman has a phone or knows if there's a phone nearby, because she wants to just, on the off chance that there might be a message at the hotel, she wants to try that as a okay, maybe someone might have left a message back at, I think it was the Trocadero was the last.
That's where you guys ended up at. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's where Frank initially stayed. Yeah.
Shyma and Patrick don't know we've moved yet, so they might still try to leave messages at the Oriental too.
That's true.
Then you're right, both. So Marie will try to see if there's a phone nearby to try to see if there's
Give me a luck test.
Okay. I'm at 55 at the moment, so
you're gonna live forever.
Let's see how this goes. 30
low for you.
Okay.
Second
you get one really quickly.
30.
I'm going to say she doesn't have one, but maybe she knows somebody across the street at a younger person's home or a young person's business. You head over. It's like some kind of tea shop cafe kind of deal, and they have a phone. And you're able to kind of negotiate. You have this would be hard for you to be able to just purchase use of it. Okay. Do you call both hotels?
Yes.
You call both. There are no messages.
And Marie just sort of hangs her head, and she thanks this person for the time, and as she walks, back down the street, she's just shoulder slumped, just in tears. Just this has just gone so poorly, and she just doesn't even know. And she figured there weren't any messages, but the hope was there. And then when the messages weren't there, then that was all of the hope that she had. So she kind of comes back into the room.
So, I'm going to say that you're getting privacy, but you're definitely getting the feeling this woman would like you out of her place. It's not, you guys came in with some questionable injuries, and you can tell, especially white dude showing up here. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want any business with that. So you can tell that she's becoming more impatient, and maybe you hear T trying to be 10 more minutes, 20 more minutes, 1 more hour, kind of negotiating, but you could tell they're antsy to get you. She's antsy to get you out of here.
Despite Will's injuries, he would be antsy to go too. It's not the type of place he'd want to be cooped up in. So he would push to leave whenever Marie gets back.
Well, there's no messages at either. There's no word.
There's not much we can do right now. We gotta keep moving. We gotta find a new car.
Well, I'm gonna say Frank's with you first. Let's get out of this lady's hair. We're going to get you back to the hotel. You need to take a rest. And he looks at you, Marie. You need to take a rest. And both of you have been up for a very long time. It is afternoon of the next day. Yeah. You guys have been up the whole time. And so the reality of it is, it's just listen, I know you don't want to hear this, but it might be time to cut our losses for now. Regroup. Contact Miss Rogers. See if we can tap into some other resources. But we've been there multiple times, and every time we go there, we come back with fewer. So, I don't want to lose you, kid. So you can take a breather. We're gonna get some rest. Okay? And we gotta figure out what the hell are we gonna do with the guy in the trunk. And he says it really quietly. Not that she understands English.
We do. I don't know. He's a loose cannon. If we just drop him somewhere, could we get you a new vehicle and we just drive him around Bangkok? I'm not looking.
You want me to get another vehicle and drive around Bangkok? And he kind of looks over towards T, as we know, law enforcement doesn't really need a good excuse to search anything, especially a foreigner like myself. And suddenly they pop open a truck and they find another guy in there. Nah, I think it's time we find a more permanent solution for what we're going to do with him.
You're right. But I don't think we're not gonna just kill him. And she's sort of looking to Will. We're not just gonna kill him, right?
Will just kind of like leans back and looks up at the ceiling, not really responding.
I didn't say we got to kill him. I just said we need a more permanent solution. Because him riding around like he's some spare tire in our trunk, that's just a bomb waiting to explode. So we need to figure out something else to do with him.
Okay. So we're gonna go. So first, we're gonna go back to the hotel.
You two need to get some rest.
We do.
What am I doing with the guy in the meantime? I can't just leave him in the trunk on the alley outside of a hotel.
Right. We're just gonna, and she kind of looks back to Will. We're just gonna dump him somewhere, right? Just hit him over the back of the head, dump him somewhere, and he'll resurface.
Do you know any place we could keep him?
Mr. Sawyer, my family is they're very well respected. And he's like thinking. Give me a luck test, one of you.
Not me.
I figured you wouldn't want to do it because you're like, what, 5?
I'm down to 13. I got 16 at the beginning of the session.
18.
18. Okay. My family has they have they have another home in the country. No one uses it except when we're hosting dignitaries. We could bring him there for a little while.
Okay. That's a better idea than we have.
His hand's shaking and he's like smoking.
Too. We'll crash there.
What? Okay. So, and so Frank's like, okay, big fella. He's like patting T on the shoulder. He's like, we're going to drop the two of you off at the hotel. And then T and I are going to go for a ride in the countryside. Okay? Sound good?
All right. I'm not going to argue.
Okay. And Marie just sort of gives Frank a big hug because she is just like beside herself.
Yep. That's smarts. Oh, that's smarts. Thank you, Miss Wint.
So sorry.
It's all right. No problem. Oh, goodness. And so that's exactly what happens. He takes the two of you back to the hotel. And then he and T will take Daniel Lohman in the trunk to this poor, young, attended the Sorbonne political science. What's that? Poor as
finding out he's not that poor.
Misfortune.
Yeah, his fortunes have been very bad.
Yeah. He's seen some things now. Do we want to say you guys rest?
Yeah,
yes,
resting.
For sure.
All right. So Marie can recover. As unfortunately, Will, do you remember the rules for
major wound
wounds?
takes a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you roll at the end of the week.
At the end of the week. But Marie, you do recover. And again, I think we started doing faster recovery after Mexico City.
I'm actually fine.
Frank stabs you really fast. Okay.
Like, she feels very guilty about this, but she's actually
hurt. Okay. All right. So the two of you go ahead and get your rest, and go ahead and take your headsets off at this point. We come back to Bev. Bev, your eyes kind of start to come to, and you get some some light coming in, much brighter than wherever you were the last time your eyes opened. Give me a spot hidden. Okay. Or listen, one of the two things. You'll get something either way.
What is better for me? Listen is 20, spot hidden is 64.
Okay.
I would like to try for spot hidden.
Okay.
83, fail.
Okay. I will say that even with a fail, you certainly know you are in bindings. You can't, like, your hands are still numb. You can see you're no longer hanging upside down. You are in some kind of cage. It looks different than where you were before. And you think there's light on you. You're not sure if it's daylight or if it's just like some kind of overhead lamp or torch. It's hard to tell, discern the two. Your head injuries are probably playing tricks on you. I'll say you can hear the sounds of voices, but not distinct enough where you could figure out what they're saying.
Okay.
And there is like a steady sound that you can't quite piece out either. Do you say anything? Do you try to do anything?
I think at this point she would try to stay still to see if perhaps she could pick up more information.
Okay. I like it. Give me another roll of maybe Siamese.
Okay. We're shooting for an 11, 78 this time.
Yeah, you unfortunately can't, like, the sound, whatever that is kind of dulling some of the conversation. I'll say, do you have any luck?
I do. I have 37.
Give me a luck test too. Give me a luck test. Maybe you'll pick out like a word or two without context.
And 13? I got 13.
You hear the word mentioned. You hear Savitri.
Mm-hmm.
Or Savitri. Every time. And you hear the word like something like too frequent or too soon.
Oh.
And the basic idea you're getting is like there's somewhat of like a disagreement between some of the voices. The context, because you didn't quite pass your roll, you can't quite piece it together, but a couple words like pop out that you can. Okay.
All
right. Meanwhile, go ahead, Ashley, you can remove those. Patrick and Shyma, what are you guys doing? Patrick, Shyma, we last saw was catatonic, was in this state, kind of having this long conversation with her mother. We'll get to that in a second. Patrick, you are at the base of the stairs speaking with Ravi, who is the grandmother, last surviving member possibly of this family. Just kind of give you some background. You also have your nameless friend. I like how you very quickly got the name of this old woman. But this other woman who helped save your life multiple occasions. Still not asked what her name is, but that's okay.
I'll get it soon.
Okay. All right. Anything else you wanted to talk to this old woman about?
Take her to the library. A question about if she knows any specific things she's kept. Tell me to look for.
Yeah. All she would be able to tell you all she would be able to tell you is kind of what she's already mentioned, that her granddaughter sent people out to the world to collect things and bring it back to her. And so this library is a curation of things that she was actively searching for something. And the only loose idea of like what she might be after was essentially trying to understand like something about a hidden identity, something about the one who stands behind the mouths, and learning the truth. Because the vague idea is that her granddaughter felt that she was like lied to and betrayed, and now she's trying to find out the real truth. She would be able to say that she knows that her granddaughter wrote in addition to having read. So it's not like, and she was very intelligent. Like she was a woman of letters, who studied greatly. Even before she went to America, like she studied here, like at the university, and she was very intelligent. So like she's a woman who wrote in addition to just like read whatever was found. But you don't get the sense that she's ever really gone through the library. So that's something for you to do.
Yeah, I'll speak to her while combing the library.
Okay. So we'll say you come back up and your nameless friend follows along, helping the old woman. You hear, what's it like to actually be asked what your name is? Oh, it's very nice, dear. And they kind of have that little conversation going. And we find Shyma. Shyma, I'm going to say your bout of madness, by the time Patrick returns, I'm going to say it's going to have resolved itself, and you're going to be able to kind of get your wits about you. You're going to get your your memory is going to start flooding back in. The reality of what you've been going through and what you've done is going to start setting in. But before that happens, was there any other highlights that you wanted to give us from that little like parallel like reality that you were having with your mom?
I think it's going to be just nothing specific, but just sort of overall kind of like what kind of relationship she has with her family. Like it's very clear that Shyma, what her parents think of her is incredibly important to Shyma. Like that is a defining feature of her identity and who she is as a person. And so she's kind of falling all over herself, like apologizing for lying to her mother, and alternately like, you can't be here, this is too dangerous for you, you have to leave, you can't, why are you here, you can't be here, I'm sorry, I'll explain everything when I get home, I promise, and that kind of thing. So that's sort of the tenor of the conversation before it ends.
And at some point, we'll say, and I think you also you would have lost one sanity, by the way, from that failed sanity test, that you got the crit fail.
Okay, just one. That's lucky
just one.
For me.
So
lucky for me.
I think I did this correctly. That was a reality check. So there are times in which, especially when you're under the effects of temper and infinite insanity, I can throw all sorts of stuff at you. And the only way you can figure out what is real and what is a delusion is to make a reality check, which is a sand roll. And if you fail, you basically have a bout of madness, which is what happened as you went to that catatonic state. And then like Long tried to do with one of the ways to kind of get you to see it, somebody else can help us with a psychoanalysis roll, but unfortunately he failed. But we'll say some time has passed. Patrick, I'm going to say you and your two friends here have been sifting through this library a little bit, maybe an hour, maybe two, maybe three. No other sounds of voices or anything like that. And from what you've been told by your nameless friend and by Ravi, the grandmother, you're pretty sure it's just the four of you on the island that are alive. But maybe like as like a book gets closed, like a big tome or something gets knocked over, that's snaps Shyma out. And Shyma, you look around, your mother is no longer here. You can see that the sun, the last time you saw it was just coming up. But at this point, you can see it's almost coming down, like it's evening, like you've lost like 10 hours or something like that, right? And you can see that there's Patrick, there is your ally, and there is this old Siamese woman who is just kind of sitting off to the side in this library. And you can see Patrick and this other woman have been kind of flipping through things here and there. And I'll even say that maybe at some point in the last few hours, either Patrick or this other woman maybe scrounged up some water for you to sip on and stuff. There's not a ton here, but there's enough like food and water to potentially like last. Like you dip into what you presume to be her stash, right?
Okay.
And so that's what you see as you come to Shyma, and as like your mind begins to gain control of yourself, and you look down, and there the mouth is still, maybe your arm is off to the side, and as you move your hand, you realize the mouth has been literally gnawing through these floorboards, and it's kind of like bit and chewed and all through that.
So what I had wanted to check initially, and what I'd like to see now, does that mouth or does a second mouth manifest anywhere else on her body? Or is it staying on the amputated limb?
You're talking about Savitri?
Yeah.
It stays on the limb, but not only that, you can see it's devouring the limb.
Oh.
You can see set off to the side, it's devouring, and a second one doesn't spawn anywhere, no. Well, there already is a second one, but a third one doesn't spawn.
A third one, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like you can see it's like leaning off to the side and like biting the sides of the of the sphere there. So
okay, but it's okay. I'm putting a few things together.
I don't think you are. Actually.
No, I don't think I mean nothing major, but it's I got the information I was hoping to get.
Okay. The other thing I want to stress for you guys is that the mouths on you they're not something that you should treat as like a comfortable thing. They are growling, howling, cursing, spitting. They're trying to bite you every time the mouth gets anywhere close to any other part of your body, any other part of anybody else's body. Frequently they curse and howl and like this horrific tongue that is like when you're in Savannah, you guys were literally taking like sand loss from it. So like this isn't just like this time that's passing isn't quiet study. It's interrupted by the mouths trying to gnaw at the pages, or by the mouths trying to bite your leg or something like that. So like I just don't want to go through like the overly plotting, like, okay, let's roll this test to see if you avoided biting you. Let's roll that test to see if it avoids biting you. But this whole time, this is all happening. Okay, so I'll say both of you are here. Patrick, you've been kind of flipping through some books. Shyma, you finally come to, and looking around, the library itself is filled from floor to ceiling with books. And you can see that there are stacks and stacks and stacks of books. This is an enormous library. You can see the windows have been pulled closed. There's a little bit of light coming in. You would presume somebody has pulled them open, but you can tell like the curtains themselves are probably constantly in a state of close. A lot of mold growing here and there. And you can see that there are just sort of books everywhere. There's some furniture here and there, but most of them, you can see that there are some desks. Only one desk appears to have like nothing's not being used as like a shelf. It looks to be like her workplace. There are lots of notes. There's a stack near the desk of these handwritten journals. It looks like these like notebooks and things. And you notice there's also a little cot in the room as well, where you assumed she would sleep. So mechanically speaking, there are two things. This is how we basically treat this. There is the library, and then there are her journals, which is that stack of like handwritten notes and stuff. Both of those are considered texts, mythos text. The library is so enormous that it is not the type of thing that anyone would be able to actually in-depthly pour over the material in this library is not even within the span of the campaign unless somebody specifically dedicates and like takes themselves off stage for months and months at a time. That's how enormous it is. So they're basically like, think of them like tome texts that we've gotten before, and they all have like stuff within them. Then there's also just basic searching. So like you can search through desks, you can skim over her journal, that kind of stuff. So sorry, I just want to make sure we get that done. What would you guys say you're doing?
I'd be interested in her text to see if she has anything about the mouths that grow on us. Try to get an understanding of that.
Okay. And then Shyma, as you kind of come to, and you can see everyone's kind of milling about in different directions. And what would Shyma be drawn to in here?
If Patrick is going to the handwritten journals, then I am gonna go to the library and just kind of dealer's choice, like anything that looks particularly like interesting, and I like to not spend time reading them, but I would like to take 5 tomes. The intention being that I'm going to give a couple to Dr. Lanford.
Sure. Right.
But I'm not really putting any thought into what those are.
Okay.
But I'd like at least 1 tome with some intention behind it. So something that looks interesting.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me start with the journals that Patrick's going through because that's a little easier.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I did have one question before we move to this, please. When my bout of madness ended with my mom, did she just kind of vanish, or did she like leave the room? Like
there was like a bump or a loud noise that just kind of snapped you kind of back to reality.
Got
when
it.
you looked around, she was not there anymore.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, you're welcome to RP that however you see fit. Okay. Patrick, you start flipping through some of these journals, and they are literally dozens of handwritten notes that are all written in Siamese. They're all written in Thai. And mechanically speaking, they're considered a single tome. Now, you can, with the aid of your friend, you can roll a library use test. On a pass, you can skim through them more quickly than the time. So normally this would take about 4 days to get through all of her journals, to skim them. That's how long. This is like 10 years worth of her journals. But a library use could potentially lower that amount of time. And if you fail, it's still going to take 4 days. So if you want to roll a library use test, I'll say your friend is helping you. And then we can kind of go through that.
Sounds good. I've got a 20 in library use. Rolling it now. 11.
Okay, so that's a
regular.
That's a
one
regular
for
success.
Hard. I'll spend it.
Okay, so you want to do that. So that's essentially going to cut the time in half. So
That's
to get
awesome.
through all of our journals, it would take you 2 days. Okay, I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you a couple things, but this isn't necessarily everything, as that will come as time goes. So what you're looking for in terms of like the minor mouths that have grown on your bodies and stuff, you see no notion of anything in any of at least the first quarter of her journals that you go through that talks about removing them. If anything, that you start to get the sense is almost blasphemous to her, and that she seems to revere them, and she sees those as something of import, right? So the idea of just trying to find a way to remove them never seems to have occurred to her as anything worth trying, and to do so would be bad. Even so, like some of the people who have grown them, like yourselves, clearly weren't worthy of them, which is why that they have died and they have been fed, or they have just rotted away on the island. You note that you see some very familiar names, especially when you go back to some of the earlier journals. You see names like Ramon Echeverria. You see George Ayres, which is the former UCLA professor that disappeared into Ethiopia. Samson Trammell comes up. You see that she starts to use this term, the liar from beyond. And that's apparently what Echeverria and Ayres and Trammell called the, quote, true entity that they are venerating in some way. But she has not been able to, throughout her research, been able to attach that epithet conclusively to any known mythos deity. And you get the sense that that has been a goal of hers, to try to actually find who this is. Who is this deity that they were truly trying to summon? Because she does not believe, as some others in the cult in Echeverria claimed, that the thing with 1,000 mouths, which is a phrase you've heard before, is Golgoroth, which is also a name that you've heard before. And you see notes to suggest that she does not think that it's Nyarlathotep either. So there's some correspondence you see between her and Samson Trammell where it makes it look like she's agreeing with Trammell, but you get the sense that she's doing that just to appease Trammell. Trammell was under the impression that they were truly trying to do something with Nyarlathotep, even though the cult in Echeverria claimed it was Golgoroth. And so really what you're gleaning from a lot of her journals is this notion that there is a deity that they were trying to venerate and summon and do something with. And the leadership of the cult was lying about who it was. And you think even some of that leadership was lying to each other. And she's trying to figure out just who, in fact, the liar from beyond actually is. And the main reason why she's doing this is because you get the sense that it's of true, like, cosmological importance that when you approach a deity of this type and you try to venerate them, whatever it is you want to do, you need to do so in the right way. Because if you do it in the wrong way, if you worship them in the wrong way, if you summon them in the wrong way, if you venerate them in the wrong way, it could be catastrophic if you do it wrong. This is also one of the reasons you're getting a sense that she detached herself from the rest of Bangkok, why she separated herself and isolated herself for academic study here and let, like, Tawi handle the fights, because that was how they venerate. That's how they saw their veneration. And she was not convinced that that was the way to do it. And so, like, she kind of kept herself at bay, or kept herself separated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a bunch of lunatics.
Yeah, it's about right. Okay. So Shyma, you were looking more, kind of going through the library, seeing if you could find anything of interest. Okay.
Very decent occult and a decent libraries. I don't know if either of them can come into play in this moment. And a decent history.
Okay. Give me a libraries test.
Okay.
And this is really just you kind of going through the collection of what she has. Books, tomes, scrolls, all sorts of things.
89 fail.
Okay. Do you have any luck you want to spend? I know you have pretty high libraries,
Not
right?
as much, no. I
Okay.
don't have enough luck, is what I mean.
It is absolutely overwhelming, the amount. And plus, you're exhausted. The two of you have to be exhausted. You're bleeding, you're injured, you're wounded, and you haven't properly slept in God knows how long. You don't even know how many days you've been separated from your friends. You have no clue. None of this.
Yeah.
One thing catches your attention, though, as you're like maybe getting a little drowsy or whatever it might be, and it's partly it's because of your time in Mexico City. You remember there was like this when you and Pastor Wood were exploring this penthouse apartment of Jonathan Brooks. You found this little hidden room, and you saw this mountain sketch, this charcoal sketch of a mountain, and you remember the name of the mountain because of your heritage.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the mountain?
Mount Kailash.
Exactly. You find something that catches your attention. It's a map. And it's not a charcoal sketch the way that like Brooks had, like just some like almost artistic sketch of it. But this is a survey map, a modern survey map of that mountain. And it seems to be something where she's got like crypt notes and stuff on it here and there. But she has kept it carefully like tubed up, whereas some of the other stuff is haphazardly scattered. This she seems to have kept very carefully, and it looks modern, like a modern survey map, as if she sent a team to literally recon the area for some reason.
Okay.
and it does seem to like pinpoint a specific place within the mountain itself that seems to be kind of drawing her attention to. So you see this big survey map, and it seems to like all these notes to be pinpointing this like small little slope that seems to be of importance to her.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have a minute to like RP swing, Patrick? Or
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. So she takes this and will kind of turn to Patrick and will say with clear, like, kind of stars in her eyes, like, I swear, this looks important. This looks like something that she spent time and effort and. I mean, I thought I might be able to find something to do with these mouths, and I think if you, I don't know, if you cut off a hand, it like eats. I don't know, but it's okay. Maybe there's something in the mountain. Maybe there's something here. We should go here. We should go here.
I'm glad you found something useful. Which should we rest? It's been a while.
Okay.
Can I, when he says that, can I go to the window and now that it's getting dark, specifically what I would like to look for is, towards the horizon, any bits of light? Like, is there anything that might look like a lit up part of the horizon in the distance? Because I will say to Patrick, like, yes, we should rest, but in the morning we should go down to the docks. There's docks. Did you see them?
I didn't make it that far. You can lead the way.
There's docks, and a boathouse. It's not in good condition, but that's where I got these tools.
Okay. You look out. You go to each window, and it is extremely dark, and the only lights you see are those of the stars.
Okay.
So the two of you and your nameless friend and Ravi, the four of you bunker down in this library. Do you take steps to do something about your mouths?
Yeah, just shove it like between shelves or like a pile of books.
Okay. Shyma?
I'd love to try. There's that fabric that Patrick gave me. I want to rip off a piece of that, and Shyma knows how to do that, like wrap. So I'd like to wrap it and see if anything happens.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So you wrap up, cover it up. Patrick, you jam your arm in a place where the mouth has something to chew on, basically, and doesn't come back to you. And the two of you, for the first time in a very long time, and it's very deserved, you get a rest. Both of you roll it. Do either of you have a major wound?
I do, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so Patrick, go ahead and roll a D4.
I'm down to 2 hit points.
Unfortunately, only Patrick gets this. Patrick, roll D4.
Yeah.
Big ol' 4.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Dude, you've been rolling so well. It's just awesome.
Okay. You don't know exactly when, but you are awoken by the sound of a bell. Ding, ding, ding. You open up your eyes. You can see there's maybe a small lantern that maybe Ravi or your friend light up. And it's dark still. You feel rested somewhat, though your wounds now are more pronounced in some ways. Your beautiful piece of cloth that you had has been completely eaten through, and the mouth has kind of just has gone through all of it. Patrick, yours has managed to like chomp through the wooden platform of a shelf. And they're hissing and they're howling. And so as the bell rings, they almost like attune themselves to it by howling. And we're going to stop there because I want to cut back to somebody else. But just think about that for a moment. Be careful. You'll see what I mean in a sec. We're going to bring Ashley back. Hey.
Hey.
How you guys doing? You guys doing okay?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
Marie?
doing fine. Just need a nap.
Okay. All right, you two can go
Indeed.
back. You guys can go ahead and remove your headphones and just...
Are you kidding me? Beth?
Yeah, I just wanted Ashley. Sorry.
Oh, that's brutal.
One of us.
Ashley, you go in and out of like drowsiness, your eyes closed. You know, it's like this thrum happens, and then at some point, you don't know exactly when, you're awoken to the sound of a bell. Ding, ding, ding. When your eyes open up, you look out, and it's dark. There is some light, some kind of orange light flickering. You're not sure if it's a lantern or if it's a torch. You see like a couple legs of people that have that kind of tarnished look to them that so many of the people like you, your doctor back in your cell, you're still in your cage. You smell salt water.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Is my cage open?
It is not. You say anything?
Yeah, is anyone else around me that I can...
You see two pairs of legs. That's all you can kind of see. Like standing a handful of feet from you.
Hello?
You call out. And then you see one of the sets of legs turns around, walks towards you, crouches. And they have the look of one of the people that you ran from when you were racing away from the fragrant honey shop both times.
Okay, yeah.
And they like kind of spat at you in some way, but like they don't hurt you other than just like kind of like spitting in your face. It's not like they're spitting, it's more like they're talking. They say something, like they curse you down, but like their mouth just protrudes this like warm saliva that just kind of lands on your face.
Can I see if I understood what they said?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me that language roll.
1.
1 critical. Okay.
They called me something terrible.
No. He said, quiet. The lady comes.
And she will do that. She'll grow quiet. And she just is kind of observing, and she's going to be looking to see if she gets out of the cage, if there's any way she could go, or like what looks to be her best escape route.
Okay. After a few moments, the man who kind of crouched down next to you gets back up, goes back to where he was standing. And a few moments after that, you feel yourself suddenly being lifted. And you're like spinning around, and you realize you're in like a dog cage or like a fish cage or something like that. And you're just being carried. And as you spin around, you see the massive body of Tawi Udum, or at least who you now know as that. I can't remember if Bev knows that name or not. We've been split for a while. But you see a massive man with a huge cleaver on his hip, and you see sharp teeth. And he lifts you up, and he carries you. And then there's this big step, and you realize you were on a boat. And now you're not. Now you're on some rickety dock or pier that seems to shift and seems to kind of move. And he is standing right next to you. And you can see that he shouts back to them, "Ring again." And one of them back on the boat, you hear ding, ding, ding. What you can see is, and it's nighttime or really early morning. You don't see the sun. It's dark. You see what looks to be the dock goes up to an island, or at least a coast of some kind. and you can see some rickety old walkway that moves up to the silhouette of some kind of crumbling building of some kind. There's trees here and there, but they're low, and you can see down the shore there is like this boathouse of some kind that looks to be falling apart. You unfortunately are not let out of the cage. You're still trapped inside.
With Towie right there, I don't think she would try to get out of this dog cage. She knows from theory, from what because this is like the second time she's seen him. The first time is briefly when he flicked her in the forehead.
Okay.
But she's heard of him as being like the lead of the honey shop and the fight rings.
All right. Go ahead and remove your headset then.
Ooh, okay.
Shyma and Patrick, you hear the sound of a bell multiple times. Coming from outside, the mouths on you and on your friend are howling. And you hear the old woman say, They've come too early. It's usually a week, maybe two. It must be them. It's either the big one or the scrawny white one. I hope for your sakes it's the scrawny white man. What do you guys do?
They're dropping us a delivery. How far to the shore?
I know where it is. I know where it is.
Do either of you look out the window?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I especially if I saw the docks when I was looking out before, like the docks motorhouse?
You would be able to find the right window up here on the second floor. It might not be the library, it might be a different window, but you would be able to find it. Give me a spot hidden.
Sweet. Spot hidden. Come on, man. 37 under
Hard
78.
Success. Hard success gives you a couple of things. First, you see there was a boat. And it's got a little light. There's like a lantern hanging down. And that definitely seems there's a person on it that is making making the sounds of the bell. Second thing you notice, there's an extraordinarily large man that you know as Talia Odom. You've seen him before, and he is standing on the end of the dock, right? Like as he has just gotten off the boat, but has not walked up the docks. And the third thing you see, because you got a hard success, is that there is a cage right next to him. And you can see that there is a woman inside. Blonde hair. But otherwise lacks clothing.
Yeah.
What does the bell mean? They expect something.
They call for her. That is how they... When it rings, I know to hide. And they are not supposed to set foot until she shows.
That's a bit of a problem. She's dead. We gotta think of something quick. I'm gonna scalp her and try to disguise our new friend as Savitri to get the delivery.
Okay, I just want to... You don't know this woman's name, but you want to scalp Savitri. Put the scalp on top of this person you still have not properly made introductions with, and say, here, go. That's what you want to do?
I would really like to step in.
The audacity.
She's stuck here with us, so she can help us.
Mr. Price, and she can't. Maybe that's not the best way, though.
Would you rather go?
Yes.
We don't know Thai.
Well, maybe all of us should go.
Well, I'll go, but you can hide in the shadows a bit.
I can. I could do that.
So I'll disguise Shyma instead.
Okay.
No,
There is no way that you're going to be able to scalp her and make Shyma look like Savitri.
It's
just not her hair.
I'll just tell Patrick that I'm gonna stealth. I'll find something to hide in.
Shyma is a tall, muscular Indian woman, very young.
Shit.
She is a
Savitri
cruiserweight. Like,
is a
size
short,
wise.
thin, wiry Siamese woman in her middle years. It's not even close.
All right, I'll take her spear as a consolation.
Okay, you can do it.
Well, take her spear and I'll hide
I can't
somewhere. I'll hide somewhere.
I can't wait till they hear this. I can't wait till they hear this plan. Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ. Okay, the grandmother is very nervous. She's like, if they see you, they will know that she has fallen. You will not be safe. You will not be safe.
If we don't show up, they'll come looking.
No. They cannot come onto the island unless Savitri lets them. They work for her.
Then maybe we set up some kind of ambush from the water or something. Or explain to them that Savitri is dead and they can take their chances with the people who killed her.
We're in no condition to fight them.
They don't know that.
They can see it.
They can see it on you.
It's just,
You guys
I'm
look
being
awful.
overconfident.
We'll sneak up to them for now and see what they do.
Okay.
Best not to show ourselves.
All right, Grandma's not going with you.
Idea.
Not
No.
a chance. Not a chance.
No.
Other one will because she wants to get off the island. Who has the worst stealth amongst the two of you?
I have 60.
I have 77.
60 it is. Shyma, go ahead and give us a stealth roll. This will be
I've been
naturally...
rolling shit, man. So
well, it's also going to be contested.
56 under 60.
Are you satisfied with a regular success?
What's the max to get down to a hard?
26. 26 far?
Yeah, sure. Why the fuck not?
Okay.
Sure. Spend 26.
You all, the three of you, are managed to sneak out, and you can. And as you do so, you go down the decline. You stay to the brush and some of the debris, and you're able to get down near the coast, not quite to the dock. There is really no place to hide if you were to walk down the dock. It's a dock, and you also, unless you take a really wide berth, it would be very difficult to sneak up on them from the water too. It's possible, but you'd have to go like down the shore ways and then swim back up, that kind of deal. The only light is this bubble around the end of the dock where they have lanterns and things. So there is like this radius of light that you would have to essentially penetrate at some point. But you're able to get down to the edge, and you can see it is Tawi Udum. You can see there are two of his people that are on this boat. And I will grant a second spot hidden, and both of you can roll this. Because I don't think either of you are actually privy to the fact that Bev changed her hair to blonde, because both of you, I think, were gone the whole time.
We have no idea.
A 79 or 78. I will spend the one luck to succeed.
Okay.
I got a hard success.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Patrick, you... Something about her, but you recognize... She looks different. Caucasian. You can see she's familiar, and then like Tawi turns and says something to like the people behind in the boat, and you see the woman stir, and you're confident that's Beverly. She's changed her hair color, but that's Beverly. You see the welt like on her head where that she took that horrible injury she took in Mexico City, but it's very revealing, and you know that to be Bev in that cage.
My wood. It's Dr. Key.
Shyma starts straining to
And as you do,
confirm.
you recognize it is her.
How'd she end up here? And we'll just observe and watch what
We
the big thugs do.
Okay.
So there's Tawi and two thugs. Is that right?
There are two people in the boat, and then there is Tawi. Yeah, standing right next to Bev.
Okay.
You can think about it. I can check in with Will and Marie and see if they're still sleeping, and then we can come back if you guys wanted to talk it out on the side.
Sure. Long I'm gonna DM you.
Okay. Okay. Whew. Hey, welcome back, guys. How you doing?
Can I say this time?
Yes, you can say this time.
Pretty please.
Yeah. Sorry. We were just talking about you. So, okay.
That's fine. It's good to know.
I cannot wait until you guys listen back specifically to this episode with something that Long proposed.
I saw you giggling, and I'm just like, what's going on?
It is both brilliant and fucking asinine at the same time. I love it. But you'll see. You'll know exactly what it is because I call it out. All right. You guys
it's brilliant.
Wake up in the morning the next day. You sent out Frank, you sent out T to take care of Daniel, to lock him away in T's familial country estate. But the two of you wake up in the Trocadero, and then we'll go through the normal stuff. No messages. Or maybe we'll say there's a message from Frank saying that they've arrived. They're staying. We'll be in contact again when it's time to come back. And then he's like, be careful. But you have no messages from Bev or Shyma or Patrick. It's just the two of you. Will, you're still in horrific condition. Marie, you're feeling pretty good. What do you two want to do? Please tell me that you have a plan.
We've been talking.
Okay.
It's not a good plan, but it is.
Okay.
The plan is, Marie, it's your plan. Do you want to say it?
We've been so unsuccessful since we got here. It seems like we got here, we stepped off the plane, and we've just stepped in it. We didn't take time to look things up or figure out who we've got or what we're dealing with. And I feel absolutely awful. Bev and Shyma and Patrick could all be laying out bleeding in alleys somewhere, but last time we tried to look for Bev, we wandered aimlessly for hours and didn't find her, and she made it out okay on her own. So maybe we go back to square one and try to do some research.
I hate to just write them off, but like you said, we're not in any condition to help them.
I mean, I'm feeling okay, but you look like shit.
Thank you for that. That's thank you.
But you really should rest. I did this in Mexico City, and it was very bad when you're not doing well and you go out and about and hide in cars.
You were hit by a car in Mexico City?
I know, I was shot in Mexico City, and instead of resting up, I went on a stakeout and got out of the car, and yeah, bad things.
I'm not really one for just lying around. I do think you're right. We should probably go back to basics, do our, lay down the groundwork, do some research. And if they can get out, we'll be around. If they can't get out, there's nothing we can do to help them at this point.
I mean, if we knew more, maybe we could, but I'm not those. There were some scary, very scary individuals here. There were some things that happened in Mexico City, but this is scary. So we learned from Daniel, we kind of already knew that there was an island somewhere. We knew that already. He confirmed that. And then it's the Siricon family estate is there. And we didn't have that name before to look anything up about her or them. We could.
And if there would be information about them, it'd be here in Bangkok. It wouldn't be somewhere else.
Exactly.
We just look into the family history. We keep our eyes open. If we can help them, we help them. I think we should send a message back to Rogers, like Frank said. Let her know the situation. If she can send assistance, she can send it. If not,
That's wise. That's wise. Let's. Oh, it feels so unpleasant and wrong to just go read books and read things somewhere. But we need to do something helpful, and maybe we'll learn something that will help us and help them. Hopefully.
All right. So, what are you looking to find out? Like, what are your keyword research topics? Is kind of what we're doing, and we could talk about
Good
what
thing the
that
two
might look like.
researchers are here doing this.
I know, it's crazy.
Definitely the Siricon family estate and the island and anything that might be odd or weird or anything goings on here.
Are you looking to just do like libraries? There's the Bangkok National Library. There's the Chulalongkorn University Library you could potentially get access to. Are you just looking to do libraries? If that's the case, you're looking for library. We're going to do library use roles, but that's not the only way you can collect information. There's other ways you could try to buy it. You could bribe people, look for things, that kind of stuff. It's just a question of you tell me. We don't have to get too specific with it, but if you can give me some general direction in terms of how you're going to go about doing that, that might make this easier.
Will is definitely a people person, so going around asking like locals would be more his style. But in this case, he would defer to Marie. If she wanted to just play it safe and hang out in the library, he would absolutely go for that.
Marie thought it was either library or local newspapers, one of the two. So the library might give us some history on the island. Newspapers might give a little more kind of word on the street, rumors about the family and whatnot.
Okay. Are you working together?
We should split up.
We're working together.
Absolutely working together.
I'll tell you what. One of you, you can either both roll both roll a library use roll, or if you really wanted to like game the system, one of you who might have a better library use can roll it with a bonus die. It's up to you guys.
I have a 24 in library use.
I have a 20 in library use. So how about we just both roll and see how it goes?
What's a library?
I imagine Will didn't have much formal schooling.
Okay, so you're both going to roll?
Yeah, you okay with that? It's not much difference between ours.
I'm fine with it. Go for it. Both of you roll. Okay, so let me know how you do.
Wow, 81.
That's horrific.
60 over 20.
Okay.
I suppose we could try to push. I don't have the luck to spend.
You absolutely could. You absolutely could.
I have, what's math? 81 minus 24.
81 minus 24. 57.
Okay.
Wait, no.
I don't have that much
57.
luck. So I'm pushing.
Minus 24.
Okay.
Pushing
you can't spend luck on a push.
Just remember, you can't spend luck on a push, and something bad will happen if you fail.
I'm not going to push because my library use is 20, but you got 24, so you got a better chance. So go for it.
I'm hoping to roll something that I can spend luck on.
Just remember,
can't spend luck on a push.
Again, you can't spend luck on a push.
Oh,
and
sorry, you just said
if
that.
you fail a push, something bad can potentially happen. You guys are literally looking into the Siricon family, right? You can guess what a potential ramification of that could be. Meaning you will alert, the fact that you're digging into their names could alert somebody, could eventually come back, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a potential concern.
I'm always up for a risk, but I think thematically Will would not be in a state.
Yeah, you're up for a risk. We literally have 5 people separated, multiple people nearly dying. We've like at a certain point, let's just
That's
play
why I'm
smart.
leaving it up to Melissa.
No,
I said I wasn't going to.
Mm-hmm.
We failed. We both failed. We tried and we failed.
All you're able to get then without succeeding is that it sort of reinforces stuff you already know, which is that the Siricon clan, they have been the owners of the Kokruk Island for generations. At some point it was bestowed to them by the Siamese king because of their loyalty, like 100-something years ago, by like Rama III. And that is not like particularly complicated information to find. So that's really all you can find. And trying to dig deeper into like the family tree you realize, like, as you get into certain collections within libraries, people start asking your intentions. Why are you looking into this? You're looking into aristocratic family, people with political ties. You're both white people from America and whatnot. So you're kind of, people are drawing, like, they're getting eyebrows. And since you don't really come up with a particularly good or conceive, reasonable lie, maybe you just kind of you just sort of back off at that point before you push. But you do know that they own the island and that it was given to them. They've had it for 100-something years.
Okay.
Now that was just the Siricon family. And we'll say that takes half the day. What's your next course of action for today?
Sending off that message to Winston Rogers, finding a telegram service.
Yeah, that's not something that would take forever. That's that you can do in the midst of moving about the city, going from one place to the next. It's fine.
Okay.
It'll be time. It'll be some time before she responds. You would know how that works.
I suppose then, Marie, what do you think about asking the locals about the actual, the cult? They control a block. The taxi driver obviously knew it was a bad area. We could just ask for advice about the area, that kind of thing, to see if we learn anything that might be useful for getting them out. Like how much they control, the maze, how big it is, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think Will and Marie tried to go the safe direction, but we're more people, charm, and that kind of thing. So I would definitely say that we would kind of switch tactics in trying to figure out about the island location, and nectar, and anything in that area as well.
So stay focused on the island then. Okay.
So you could do, this can be a social test. This could be a credit rating if you're looking to bribe. You guys just tell me. And again, you guys roll separately. You can roll together. Like one person rolls and gets a bonus. Or
I'd like to do a social test more than anything. How about you, Marie?
Agreed. For sure, social.
Persuade, charm, etc. I will say it'll probably be without T. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. So you're going to take a penalty die because of the difficulty of conversation without a clear translator. The likelihood of you just finding someone who happens to speak English or French is, not the greatest with who you're asking.
Marie will definitely always go charm if she can.
Okay, so absolutely could.
My persuade is 50, so we'll go for that.
And sorry, did you say penalty die? Because
penalty die just because you guys don't have T with you to do the translation.
Sure.
Penalty die turned it into a crit fail.
It
was a 45 that became a 95. Or is 96 crit fail?
Actually, I'm sorry. Let's reset this. I should have just made it a hard success required, not a penalty die. I should have just said hard success. You're going to need a hard success. That's what I should have said. It's my bad. So I would say just flush that roll and roll again. Don't even pay attention to the other one. Just flush that roll, and then Marie, same deal.
Rolled 30 for the third time tonight, so 30 under 80 for charm.
Okay, very nice. That is a hard success. 30 is you would have needed a 40, so you're good there. Will?
I rolled a 36. 50 is my persuade, so hard would have been 25. I'm not gonna spend the 11 luck. I'm running on fumes. That would be everything.
If you spend the 11 luck, I will give you more information.
All right, fine.
Okay.
I'm down to 2 luck.
Oh.
Okay, so this is again one of these montage moments, right? We see Will, we see Marie, we see them at the library. They're at the Bangkok National Library. They go over to the Chulalongkorn. I forgot how to pronounce it. The Chulalongkorn University. You go there, you look into some things. You kind of get stymied here and there. At some point, though, you perhaps during your research, especially when Kokkruk Island came up and you were learning about its history. You are directed, or at least a small town, essentially, not necessarily Bangkok itself, but a smaller on the outskirts of Bangkok kind of town pops up, and you keep seeing this name pop up in relationship to Kokkruk Island. It's Pattaya. and how it is like a coastal town, and it's like almost like a fishing village, if you want to think about it in those terms, and how like it seems to be like the closest point on the on the coast to this island, right? And there seems that name just keeps popping up. So we see like you guys asking questions, you move around, like talk to the person who runs the Trocadero, find a cab eventually. It's not that long of a drive. And you find yourselves probably by nighttime in the village of Patia. And you start asking questions about Kokruk. And you very quickly get the sense that Kokruk Island is a topic of some concern. And many people seem like they're friendly enough to you. They're very excited to see you. And like they're happy to help you, point you in this direction or that direction. And then you mention Kokruk Island, and you can see they get nervous. They kind of clam up. And you can see over and over again, you get this sort of same reaction. You get some like basics. It's a rocky private island. It's about half a mile long. It's not particularly tall. There's no village or settlements on it. It's not a place, as far as you know, it's inhabited. There's references every now and then that it's like, some people say private residence, but no one really remembers anyone from the family. Like, eventually, with your successes, with your hard successes, you're able to kind of get through to this man who's this fisherman. He's bit into his cups. He actually speaks a little bit of French, and so it's probably easier to converse with him. Talks about like how he was in, like he was like in the, like he was like a naval man, and like maybe you and him get into a conversation about like French Foreign Legion service and stuff like that. And so like you're able to find this common ground. And he lets loose that the reason why no one really wants to talk about it is because anyone who are known to have gone to the island in the last few years have disappeared. They've never returned, and their boats have disappeared. We're talking fishing boats, we're talking tourist boats, we're talking any of those types of boats. And this is why no one really wants to talk about it, as there's like this, there's this sort of like curse associated with it, or this concern that maybe there's something going on there, or it's dangerous, or it's just, whatever it might be. That's the vibe you're getting from this man who's just talking and drinking and revealing these things. Both of you could roll a psychology test, however, as you're talking to him.
32 under 60. Do I need to spend the 2 luck to get the hard success? I've got 2 luck left.
I don't think you want to go to 0 luck. I think that's bad.
Do you die at 0 luck?
No, you don't.
I rolled a 50 under 69.
If you press him, we'll say, he, in like the middle of this kind of dockside bar tavern, it's small and quaint. Everyone's kind of huddled atop of one another. He kind of waves you off and waves you off and waves you off. And he never will go that extra step, but you can tell there's more he's not telling you. And he kind of like lets slip, like, like he kind of invites you to stay. Like if you want to stay somewhere, you could stay with him. And you realize that he lives on some kind of like, he lives like in a shack right off the water, and it's not big enough for him, let alone the 3 of you. But that's when he's finally like willing to open up. And he's like, he is extremely drunk at this point. And he says, there was a local fisherman, Bon was his name. He was the only one to come back after going there. But he didn't really come back. His body washed ashore. And he like holds up a hand, kind of like points down ashore. But something about it was wrong. Something. And you see him like just sort of shiver. The authorities, they came fast. They took the body and they cremated it. But they couldn't take the memory of finding it. It was grotesque. There was another mouth on its shoulder where the arm should be. And the body of Bon was bloated. Dead in water for days. But that mouth was moving, was speaking, and was gnawing on the flesh, eating away at my friend. I've heard that when they burned the body, the mouth screamed and howled. The language was, he's like wincing when he describes it. And I've never heard it before. And I never want to hear it again. Sometimes, at night, I can still hear it scream. I can still see it chew and chew. And then he like kind of like sits back at that point and he like lets out this, like he just got something off his chest that he's been keeping in for a long time.
Are there any rumors about the island? Do people ever tell stories about it?
Yeah. There was a family there. Rich. Yeah. They live there. But they used to come and go from Pattaya. They would buy fish. They would come to the mainland. We would take them to the city. They do not come anymore.
When did that change?
Little by little. Years. And then no one.
There's no boats that go to that island.
No one here will go and take you there. Not after what happened to Pan.
Not people who would take us there, but the family there has to get food or supplies somehow. Do you ever, by night, do any boats smuggle supplies there? Do you ever see any contact whatsoever?
He shakes his head. No. There was servants who used to come. We have not seen them in years. No one knows where they went.
How close have you? Go ahead.
Has anyone ever flown a plane over the island to see what's
What do I know of planes? I'm a fisherman.
How close have you been?
I could see on the horizon, but I will never get closer than that.
Did you ever hear any rumors of that family being connected to any sort of drugs or anything like that?
No. There was a... no. For a while. Many years. Books. Trinkets.
They wrote books?
No. They would bring them here. Groups of people. And some would take them. But then the boats never came back. And so, they do not come anymore.
Have you heard, Marie wants to try to pivot a little bit to if he's heard anything about any new drugs in Bangkok, or if he knows anything about kind of the neighborhood that we were in, if we have any way to describe that.
I don't go into the city. I am humble. This is my life. And he kind of shows you like his shack, his boat. He's got this, modest sized boat. This is all I need. And drugs, he kind of holds up like the whatever you guys have been drinking.
Sure.
This is all I care for.
How long did it take the authorities to come and take the body? Were they there fairly quick? Did they say anything about what it was?
No. But no one liked to hear the sound. No one... the sight. We wanted it to be gone. They wanted it to be gone. And so they made it so.
When did that happen?
A year.
I know you said that it was quite awful. Would you be able to tell us what the mouth was saying, or what the rumors are that the mouth
I don't know.
Screamed?
No one knows the language. It was not Siamese. It was not French. It was not Chinese. No one knows.
Did anyone recall the sound, even if they did not know the meaning?
And he like winces, and then he'll just like repeat like a phrase that sticks with him. And you guys have, well, Marie, you've heard it. You've heard it from the mouths of those who attacked you on the rainy roads of Savannah. And you've heard it elsewhere too, often from the mouths themselves.
And Will would probably see Marie respond to that. Oh, okay. That's quite disturbing. She'll try to pass it off to this gentleman. That's quite a disturbing sound. But Marie will just sort of shoot a look over to Will and nod, like, shh, this is something known to us.
I'm sorry we've brought up bad memories. I appreciate you talking with us and telling us the story. Here, and I pull out some local money, and your next drink, that's on me. I appreciate that.
He takes it and thanks you. And we're going to fade out of that. We're going to cut over. So, Will, Marie, go ahead and put your headphones back on.
Leave the headphones on? You want to leave them on? You said.
Go ahead and take your headphones back off. All right. Shyma and Patrick. You've been waiting for a few minutes. You can see that Tawi has at no point stepped any closer. Do you do anything?
Like to let them make their next move besides not coming along. Like if they decide to leave or do something with Bev, let's see what they do.
Okay.
Based on what their next action is, we've got a few things that we've talked about.
Okay. You see them wait a few more minutes. They exchange voices. And then you can see Tawi leans down, kind of checks the locks on the cage to make sure you can see it shake the cage a bit. And he turns around, he climbs back on the boat. You hear as the engine kicks on and they start to peel away.
She nudges Patrick very aggressively. Go.
It's fine to lift Bev.
No, they took Bev.
No, he's right. No, they didn't. He just
they
checked.
Left. I thought they took
he didn't
her
pick her
on the
up.
boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're well out of view, we'll go help her.
Okay. So I'm trying to motion. It's very hard to motion just to Ashley. Just Ashley.
Yeah.
Just Ashley. Steven and Melissa, get the hell out of here. Ashley, you can stay.
We need
Ashley.
a different symbol. For
I know,
this.
right? I realize I should have done that. It's too late now. We're well into the session. Okay. Ashley, you've been Bev has been inside this cage. And Tawi's just standing there. And standing there. The bell rings every so often. Nothing happens. No one shows up. You could tell Tawi seems like not frustrated, but like almost impatient to a degree. And then he leans down and he like checks your cage. You can see him kind of like tugging on the lock, and it's sturdy, and he's got this massive meaty hand, and if he can't break it, you know damn well you can't break it. And then you see him let it go, stand up, and he climbs back onto the boat. You then hear a moment later, and you look over, and you can see the boat is now piloting away, leaving you on the dock.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Do I have like any hair pins in my hair that I can use to try and pick the lock? Or would they have taken that when they took my clothes?
They would have definitely gone through you, but I'll say a luck test to see if you have something. Maybe you got lucky.
Not that I have high locksmith at all. I passed my luck test.
Your hair is in such a tangle that yes, you do. They left a pin. They left like a small little pin in there.
Okay.
You can make a locksmith test if you want to try to pick this lock.
Yeah, I'm going to take 2 boosts because I have a 1 in locksmith. So we're going for a 21.
Okay.
I don't want to look.
23.
I'll spend the 2 luck.
Hell yes.
And you are, and right as the boat is no longer in vision, you hear a thump, and you're able to pull that lock off and push the cage out and clamber out. Your hands are numb, your legs are numb, you've been crouched, but you're able to finally kind of stand for the first time, and God knows how long it's been.
Yeah. And I think the first thing she'll kind of do is there's like a wooded area kind of off to the side, right? She'll definitely,
you gotta walk up the top.
Yeah, she'll head up over to the wooded area and just take stock of where she's at.
That sounds lovely. But as you get to the start of the dock, you come moving across, you can feel the dock kind of wobbling. You see 3 figures emerge from behind some hidden brush. Would you guys like to would you guys like to describe what she sees?
A nude Patrick Bryce.
What does he look like?
Twigs, leaves in his hair, cuts all around his nice little mouth on his left arm.
You can see on his left arm, much like you've seen elsewhere, is this gnawing, gnashing, dripping, hissing mouth that as he holds it up, you can hear it howl like it's howling after the boat that is now driving away on the water. Shyma, what does he see? Or does she see, excuse me?
This, not quite naked German. She has like some fabric on her, like across her chest and covering her groin, but she has this massive wound on her side, and she has a gnashing mouth on her left hand with this slavering, spitting tongue. But you can see she got this wide, manic, slightly deranged smile, and she's, when she sees that Tawi is no longer like visible, like she picks up her pace and gets in this limping sort of run towards you.
You told me you guys were dead. And like Beverly's crying at this point, but she does. What brought us here? Why are we here?
Dr. Key, and she kind of wraps you, launches into this hug, and tries to keep the hand as far away as possible.
And Beverly, you take 3 points of damage as the mouth that Shyma tries to pull away, she pulls away too late, and it sinks its teeth into your bare shoulder. And then Shyma is able to rip it apart so it doesn't gnaw any further.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why do you have mouths upon you?
We'll fill you in on it.
Savitri, put them there.
Who it?
You've heard the name, right? Wait. She lived here on the island.
Yes, but how
Mr.
did
Bryce
she
killed
put
her?
them
Mr.
on
Bryce killed her. It's okay. It's over.
Don't know too much about it, but we were locked up and she stabbed us.
She stabbed you, and it made mouths grow from your body?
She stabbed us with the nectar, and then she did some kind of ritual. And
do we need to cut them off? And then at this point, Beverly's kind of freaking out because she studied nectar in California.
That's what I tried. I tried to cut the hand off of Savitri, and she had 2 mouths on her, and one of the mouths that I tried to cut off, it just ate itself. So I don't know, maybe that's part of it. I don't know if that's all of it, but maybe part of it is cutting it off.
Jesus. And you said you killed her? What if I...
At that
and
point,
then you said there's a third.
Another person step forward. Very short, Siamese woman, short hair, and as skivvies as they have. She is limping, and you can tell it's because there is a mouth on her thigh. And she says to you in French, and she says, what they say is mostly true. We killed her. I am Ongana Montri. Welcome to Kokrak Island. We need to find a way off. And we're going to end it there, and we'll pick up there next time.
No one asked for your name, lady.
You're son of a bitch. You're such a bitch. Such a bitch. Oh, goodness.
So y'all laughing
right.
without me.
Because we were making fun of you.
We were laughing at you.
Yeah, if it
I
makes you
don't
feel
mind
good.
if you laugh at me. I just want to hear the laughing.
We're like,
No.
oh, he's so alone.
Yeah, it's like, look at this. Look at them two. Isn't it funny? They hate each other, and they're the two that end up together. Look at that.
No,
Always get
I
paired
was
off
like,
together.
Melissa,
crazy.
come back. Steven.
That is the end of the episode, guys. I ended it on their side. So we'll pick up next time. we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to say anything, make predictions, because I don't want to spoil anything that's going on. But it's been a really interesting chapter. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I feel like we're supposed to get to fewer sessions, not more sessions.
Yeah, we're
I can't
getting
believe our new characters died.
Seriously, already?
Third character.
Jesus Christ.
Just their
Oh my
character.
gosh.
Right, here we go. It's crazy.
Oh my
They all wear.
There's
they
a
all wear bow
reason
ties.
why I haven't been wearing my dress, guys.
Honestly, thank God Clarice having a sale. I can just get new glasses.
Long's just playing a barbershop quartet, and he's going through each one of the members. That's basically what he's doing. So, but all right, that is it. We will pick up hopefully next week. We got to check our schedules. Schedules are getting a little weird, obviously, because of holidays, but we'll get back into our rhythm here pretty soon. But why don't we go ahead and do some closing plugs, and then we can get on out of here. So we're going to go ahead and start, as we always do, by mocking Steven and then turning our attention to Maitreyi. So mock. Maitreyi, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
I'm so happy to be back to that joke. I am Maitreyi's Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the GM and player experience that you should check out if you want to check that kind of thing out.
Fan-freaking-tastic. Links are in the chat. I think Melissa's probably dropping them there. Otherwise, if you're listening or watching this later, check the show notes. You'll find in the description links to everyone's stuff, including my dear friend Steven. Steven, what has he been up to?
Yeah, I made my own RPG. It is not system agnostic. It's system religiositic, whatever that word would be.
System spiritual?
I mean, you could just say Gnostic. You could say it's system Gnostic.
Oh, that's good.
It's system Gnostic. There we go.
It's not agnostic, it's Gnostic.
And it's a Weird West RPG.
Not
it's a lot of
secular.
fun. You can check out more details at huckleberryrpg.com. We just revamped the website, so you can tell me how beautiful or ugly it is. Hit me up in Discord and let me know. And while you're in Discord, you should check out our Huckleberry channel and talk to all the other people playing Huckleberry, because there's a lot of us now, and we all want to talk about it.
Very, very cool. Awesome. And you got like new stuff coming out soon. Do you know when you're releasing it?
Yeah. We're aiming for mid-January. I don't have an actual date yet. But
cool.
we've got a couple updates coming out. So we'll have a big one in January, and then a smaller one in February, and then a smaller one after that too.
Awesome. Very, very cool. All right. As for us here on Adventures in Lollygagging, our next stream should be Monday, as we're going to be back to Otherscape. Then Tuesday, we're off on Tuesday, but we are going to be starting up something a little bit later in the month, later in January. So San Steven, but Kipster's going to be running something for us. So you should be checking that out. We'll talk more about it in a couple weeks. Then next Thursday, we've got Swords of the Serpentine. So we're continuing our what do I call it? The Tides That Bind campaign. Friday next week, I believe, is a Dragonbane week. And then Saturday, hopefully we got more of Call of Cthulhu. So that's it for us. Let's go ahead and raid anybody.
I can interrupt you while you look at that. I can thank the people that rated us. So thank you to the Neon Swamp and Evo D Gamer for rating us today.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It's awesome. Okay, so speaking of cyberpunkian-like games, let's go ahead and raid Cyber Nation Uncensored. Looks like they're playing some Cyborg. So let's raid them. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. See y'all later. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.
Bye.
Bye.